This video is a bit different from my usual content because just recently Oshinoko started airing and I'm a massive fan of the manga. The anime had the right idea of making its first episode an hour and a half long, covering the entire prologue arc because that's where the hook is. But as a consequence, it also misrepresents the rest of the story. Please don't let the prologue lie to you. I'm here to help you out. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've seen at least the first episode. If you haven't, be warned that this video contains spoilers for episode 1, and I'll also be using some snippets from the manga and up to episode 3. Out of context, of course. I'll keep it as spoiler-free as possible. If you want to stay completely blind and be surprised for better or for worse, please stop watching. But if you don't want to be misled by the first few episodes and want to know what to expect so you don't misjudge the anime only to get disappointed later, that's what this video is for. The prologue is weird. First, it seems like a tragicomedy, then a slice of life with a supernatural gimmick, then a murder mystery. Oshinoko is not a murder mystery. Do not expect the rest of this show to be about Aqua trying to piece together who killed his mother. You won't get a cat and mouse game like in Death Note or a hunting game like in Monster. Sure, the mystery will unravel bit by bit, especially towards the later chapters of the manga, and it definitely is the main plot thread, but for the majority of the story, the murder mystery takes a back seat to the many other subplots, so much so that for entire arcs, Aqua might not get any new information at all. This is an unconventional and conscious writing decision that I'm fine with, but it can definitely put people off, so if you're mainly in it for the mystery, you'll find Oshinoko to be incredibly slow and uneventful. Speaking of slow, don't let the first episode trick you into thinking story beats happen rapidly and conflicts resolve quickly. The prologue arc is the exception. The rest of Oshinoko is very slow moving. Character conflicts persist for a long time or get sidestepped to make way for other plot threads that may or may not even pay off, among other reasons. In most cases, it makes the drama more tangible and realistic, but on the other hand, it can definitely get boring and unsatisfying. The way the story presents itself is very reminiscent of a classic slice of life manga, so if you really don't like slice of life anime, you might struggle with this one, even if it's not really slice of life. Oshinoko is to its core about people of different backgrounds playing the game that is the Japanese entertainment industry and how they navigate through the politics, social engineering, and unsavory repercussions that come with playing this game. This means you'll get introduced to a large cast of characters, from public figures to showrunners, and pretty frequently, the story will move away from the Hoshino twins to focus on different side characters with their own mini arcs. I won't say who, but there will be a bunch of them, and sometimes they'd have little to nothing to do with Aqua or Ruby, at least not directly. So you need to be ready to be bombarded with new characters and occasionally leave the protagonists behind for a certain length of time. A considerable amount of the anime's runtime will be dedicated to detailing what goes into multimedia production, like scriptwriting, copyright, principal photography, organization structures, and a myriad of other things. By a lot, I mean a lot. Like, you should expect this sort of exposition in every episode. If you have zero interest in learning about show business and only want to care about the core plot, which is fine by the way, chances are you will be absolutely bored by this anime. Being exposition heavy with slow pacing and a lot of characters, the story will every now and then feel like it's meandering or otherwise just stalling for time. Even though I have my own issues with Oshinoko, at no point reading it did I ever think it was meandering. Oshinoko is a drama with heaps of nuance and complicated relationships in complicated situations that require a load of background information. I think it actually helps to treat it kinda like a documentary, in the way that it's an exploration as well as a piece of commentary on the entertainment industry. It's definitely dramatized, but it is based on what people actually go through in real life, and it makes for a nice topic of discussion with other people. One last thing, the story is dark, but it's not that dark. It definitely has its edgy moments, but don't let people convince you into thinking this is an exceptionally grim and dreary story. It's only as dark as it needs to be. Juxtaposing this are characters that genuinely care about and support each other whether or not they're aware of it. There's a lot of positivity to balance out the depressing stuff, about equal amounts, I think. Before we wrap this up, if you do decide to follow through with the anime or start reading the manga, here are some other things you can expect from the story. Characters manipulating, keeping secrets from, or lying to other characters. Characters being petty, selfish, and extremely competitive. Twisted romantic relationships and unrequited love. Conflicts where no one is entirely to blame but everyone gets screwed over anyways because some things are just the way they are in the industry. Pretty frequent time skips, ulterior motives, and new characters that lose relevance pretty quickly to make way for even newer characters. That's pretty much it. These are all based on my personal opinion. In the end, you can approach the anime however you like, just try to keep an open mind and don't get overhyped. On one side are people praising this manga as the second coming of Christ, and on the other are people thinking it's a disappointing, overly edgy load of garbage. It's neither. You can argue having a misleading prologue is an objective flaw of writing in this guy's part, which I actually agree with, but that doesn't mean the rest of the story doesn't have its own merits. I hope you'll have as much fun watching the show as I did reading it. I may or may not make another video reviewing Oshinoko because I have a lot to say about it that I haven't covered. Until then, leave a like if you like this video, dislike it if you don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.